conversations that matter every Tuesday night. Inspiration, laughter, love, shining bright. Turn it up, let your spirit go.
Hello. Today is our last session of this season, 2025, and we are blessed and honored to have Dr. Lawrence Henry available for us. And we're just, elated, and we're going to talk about Beyond the Titles later on.
Yes, and we're so excited to have you here, a decorated veteran who's a retired colonel,
Yes,
transformational leader, and a member of Omega Psi-Phi.
Yes.
Okay, bruh.
Yes.
The founder of a Bridge to Light, serving underserved communities in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Again, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you so much for allowing me to be here today.
Go ahead, man. Just tell us what your purpose and your pain of transformation.
Well, far too often we get transformation versus transactional confused.
Okay.
Transformation takes a while. Transaction, I do this to get to that. We work to get paid a transactional fee. But to facilitate true transaction in a community, in yourself, you have to really, really work. And as we talked earlier, you have to be consistent and realistic with yourself and the communities in which you serve to further facilitate transformation. So that's what a Bridge to Light, that's our secret sauce.
Okay.
Our secret sauce is to be realistic and consistent. Everybody wants to see the circus. Everybody wants to see the circus, but tomorrow, where's the circus? Mm-hmm. So how do we enable thought and support with small things, but at least the communities in which we serve will be predictable for them. And speaking of transformation, there's a huge transformation in myself, transforming from the military, actually transforming into the military. I mean, because where I'm from, the Northeast, particularly New Jersey, not too many people, they don't join the Army. They're not officers in the Army. They are not senior leaders in the military. And many of them are not in special operations, which we'll talk about later on this evening. But transformation is vital to further enable underserved communities to just achieve a standard. Because right now, what we accept as the norm is unfortunately killing our young people in the streets today.
Wow. Let me ask you this real quick, too, before I go into my questions. Would you recommend military to our youth now?
The military, for me, just based on my background, was a good thing. The military has changed, and that's a unique conversation with respect to the socioeconomic issues that existed in 2025, 2024, that currently exists now.
Yes.
They're very different. So I would support young individuals going into some type of structured, disciplined organization to assist them in making hard decisions and hold themselves accountable.
Okay. And the reason I was asking that, because I write notes. Not all the time, but for you, your resume is very impeccable. So I want to make sure I get the key points. One point is I need to know what inspired you on your dissertation on Black women and silence after sexual assault. That was part of why I asked you about the young people.
Wow. I wrote a dissertation in 2020 entitled "The Silent Dilemma: The Challenges Black Collegiate Women Face Disclosing Sexual Victimization." And that was coming at the tail end of my military career, actually at the very end, where I was going through the dissertation, the coursework and so forth at Nova Southeastern University in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And everyone thought I was going to do a dissertation or a study on the next Special Forces pistol.
Oh, okay.
Or the next military free fall parachute, or something in government the legal government and so forth. But during that period when I was writing my dissertation, there was a very unique time period in the United States. It was the Me Too movement, and a lot of women were talking, voicing their issues with respect to being sexually harassed and or sexually assaulted. So I looked at the most unprotected population in the United States. And unfortunately, you could kill a bald eagle and you probably get a fine. If you kill a rhinoceros, then you probably go to jail. But if you beat or maim a black woman, again, the normative activities that I spoke about before, how we transform in the mindset. If you beat or kill a black woman, yes, it may make a soundbite on a radio station or a TV station, but it will, more than likely, historically speaking, there'll be nothing, no coercive punishment for that.
Yes.
So I wrote the challenges black collegiate women face to disclosure sexual victimization, and I looked at a period between 1995 and 2005, where 8 women were sexually assaulted, but never disclosed.
Oh, wow.
But never disclosed until 2020. And these very, very courageous women. Yes, I've done some things that some people will call courageous. But that was physical courage.
Yes.
But how do you get to the moral courage?
Yeah.
How do you speak to moral courage? And these women came forward and spoke to sexual violence that was committed against them in college. And I interviewed them. And it taught me how to get beyond hearing and get to listening. And that's very, very hard because we hear everything. But what are we listening to?
Yeah.
What are we listening to? So listening to their lived experiences and the themes that came out of that led me to writing a 300-page dissertation on the challenges black collegiate face disclosing sexual victimization.
Wow. Yeah. And I'm glad I asked that. I remember when my youngest daughter graduated, we was trying to figure out if she's going to college or not. I said, you want to go to the Air Force? You want to go to the military? She said, I'm not doing that, Dad. And I said, okay. Because I didn't know. But I hear about things after the fact. I said, man, I'm glad she didn't go.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Angie?
Well, I actually have 2 questions. So what was the response to your dissertation? Were there any policies or rules that were changed in those environments? What happened after you submitted your paper?
Well, a lot of engagement, a lot of conversation.
Okay.
A lot of college campus visitations. A lot of curiosity. What were the barriers that prevented? Not necessarily. It's very, very, very hard to prevent sexual assault, sexual harassment. But how did I look at myself? Okay, because it was a very introspective study. How did I look at myself when I did this study? Say, what did I do back in the early 90s?
Yeah.
When I was, when I was running with the bros, when I was running in, just having a good time as a college guy, rump shaking and, and doing all those things that is synonymous with the early 90s.
Yeah.
What indirect behavior did I portray to create a barrier between this lady who may have trusted me on the surface, but couldn't really trust me and tell me, hey, listen, so-and-so just touched me in an inappropriate way.
Wow.
So a lot of discussions were had, and it went beyond the sexual assault piece. It had us look at the structures, systems, and relationships of local, state, and federal agencies. Because the re-victimization of black women sometimes, when they do say I've been assaulted and go to the police, a lot of them are re-victimized. So that's a barrier as well.
Right.
So we had an opportunity to put a mirror in our faces, to kind of look at ourselves. And I thank God for allowing me to have the courage to do this study.
Wow.
And so my second question relates to the impact of that trauma on them later in life.
Sure.
Did you find any correlation on their ability to lead and, in community or on the job? How did that impact them?
Sure. A lot of my the data I collected, as far as intellectual data that I got from reading different articles,
Okay.
coupled with the lived experience, coupled with her voice, because many black women, unfortunately, her voice is muted.
Right.
So how did I couple her voice with the academic data? And it appeared that sometimes it involved them being intimate, being close to people. Not necessarily sexually intimate,
Yeah,
but just
just
a barrier,
mentally.
it was a wall between them so they won't get too close. It affected them as far as totally letting go sometimes and trusting. Trusting the environment and trusting systems that are designed, structures that are designed to provide them security. So they kind of held them back from, as Maslow speaks to, self-actualization. It prevented them to really see themselves
For that.
in the future, to envision themselves because of these barriers that disrupted their ability to let go, to trust.
Now, I know earlier you was talking about you had children. Did any of your children join the military? If yes or no, or why?
No. I mean, they saw the pain that I went through.
Oh, okay.
And that's it's a very unique situation. Again, as I mentioned earlier, I am from the Northeast, and many Northeasterners are not really drawn to the military.
Oh, okay. I
They're
didn't
not
know
really
that.
drawn to the military. A few here and there. I wouldn't say it's an absolute, but to be an officer in the military, the pyramid gets tighter.
Okay.
And to be in special operations, the pyramid gets tighter.
Yeah.
And to be a senior officer in special operations, the pyramid. I mean, when I retired, there was only 6 of us that were special operations qualified in the Department of Defense.
Wow.
In the not the Army, not the Navy, Air Force, or Marines, the Department of Defense. So, and that comes along with a lot of fighting through what one will call imposter syndrome. You're fighting through. You are, but my personality, was large.
Yes.
But sometimes you did question yourself. And so how did I get beyond that? And the physical pain. I mean, I chipped my coccyx bone in 2004 and did not get it looked at, did not get any medical treatment until 2017 because of concern.
Okay.
Because of concern, if I took myself out of the force
Right.
medically, then that would have been a discriminator against me with my peers that are not minority officers. So those are the pressures.
So you were suffering.
Yeah,
the whole
those are the
time.
pressures that minority officers that it's the yes and discussion. It's yes, we go through these problems with everybody else, but being a minority officer, the more he's a minority officer, he's a special operation, the more additives you put to that
Yes.
person, the more stress, just like being a black woman. It's the yes and discussion.
It is.
Like, for example, and I had the privilege of you attending one of our presentations.
Yes, it was
And-
wonderful.
And we speak to what's violence and what's security. And you may say security is making sure that I'm financial security,
Yeah, food on the
I have that
table.
food on the table. It's very structural.
Yeah.
But if I ask our dear sister, what's security, she may say the same thing as you say, and yes, and
Okay.
Absolutely.
especially if she's going on a date with someone, she's worried about this guy may turn around, punch me in the face, and rape me.
Yeah.
You're not worried about that. I don't
Yeah.
think so.
Yeah.
You're not worried about, but she is. Is he going to molest my children?
Yeah.
Is he
Emotional
going to do this?
security, all kinds of.
Correct. So there's forms of violence and forms of discrimination that were woven into the system that sometimes that I experienced overt, and very discreetly.
Okay.
And that's what made me also empathize and to a degree sympathize during my dissertation when I interviewed these ladies.
Okay.
It's
I love
interesting
that.
because when we had former Fleet Master Chief Raymond Kemp,
Yes.
who was in the Navy,
Wow, superhero.
he definitely,
Superhero.
but he definitely shared some of the same sentiment in terms of the pressure of achieving success. You know, the higher,
In the
to your
military.
point, the
Yes.
higher you went, the more expectation
Yes.
that is on you. And him leading a fleet of 56,000 people, you know, just imagine,
Yes.
you know, the pressure that was on him
Yes.
For that
to
one
just keep
mistake.
pushing, keep moving forward, but then also taking care and the resilience that he needed to fight through some of those situations that he encountered.
Chief had to be perfect. He had to
That all
be
mean.
absolutely perfect. And I don't know him personally. I look forward to meeting him one day.
Good man.
But just reading up on him and 50,000 plus service members under his leadership as the senior non-commissioned officer in that area, he had to be perfect because he was always being watched. And, you know, to me, a lesser degree, but I was always being watched.
Yeah.
And gentlemen and women that ascend beyond the military in the corporate America, as they ascend, they're always being watched. You have to be perfect with everything, your social life, your fraternal life, your business life, because everything is being scrutinized
Do it all.
double, triple sometimes. Yeah.
I like that. So let me ask you this, because I know I went to one of your events, A Bridge to Light,
Yes.
and why the creation of it.
Oh my God. A bridge to light, you know, God gave me a bridge to light. As you said in the commercial, I am fortunate enough, but unfortunate enough, to be a cancer survivor, not only once, but twice.
Oh, wow.
Twice. And it would be quite selfish of me to just take the skills, gifts, and talents that God has blessed me with and just be selfish as far as I'm going to earn $1. I'm going to get this, you know, and I've been offered opportunities to do extremely well.
Yeah.
But I think the bridge that allowed me to be here today
Yes.
needs to be extended to those of underserved communities.
I love
And so that's why our mission statement is to facilitate going beyond the obstacles that once a barrier, you know, to just acquire human needs, with a particular emphasis on disrupting the school of prison pipeline and further enabling reentry of formerly incarcerated persons.
that. Wow. Yeah. And one thing I can honestly say, you not only talk about it, you be about it. You actually go into the South Dallases, what some people may call the hood or the lesser communities, but you go in there, you speak to them, you love on them.
Yes, sir.
And they appreciate that. They need that, you know. And that's one thing. I always had respect for you, but that gave me more respect. I said, this man can be anywhere in the world, but you stay to help, and you don't mind giving back to the
Yes.
community, you know. So I congratulate you on that, just for being yourself, because you said it was a vision that God had gave you.
Yes.
And when God gives you a vision, you got to run for it. You got to go get it.
I mean, it's beyond. It's a beyond. It was a real thing. When we first met,
Yeah, at the fashion show.
well, at the fashion show, I was maybe days off chemotherapy.
Oh,
You
I was
mentioned that.
actually boiling on the inside.
man, you can even tell.
Yeah, I was actually in chemotherapy treatment when I first met you. I was just taking off the needle per se, maybe a day or two before I met you.
Ooh.
So, as I will paraphrase a poem called "If," you know, if we could walk amongst kings and still maintain the common touch, it's so important. It doesn't matter how far you ascend. So what? So what? When you go, it's over. So, but how am I through A Bridge to Light and through unique platforms such as this? How am I pouring into young men and young women who are underserved? And when I say young, anybody younger than me, so that means that anybody that is 50-ish or below,
Yeah.
you know, I'm mentoring. I have one of my mentors that's watching right now that spent 2 decades in prison.
Wow.
And he and I treat him as my brother and my friend.
Yeah. That's
Because,
important.
yes, when we're going into unique locations, you know, he's an advisor.
Yeah.
You know, he's an advisor, so we cannot go so far beyond, you know, so far beyond thinking who you know, these titles make us think that we are actually that title. I'm a this, I'm a colonel, I'm a doctor.
Yeah.
No, I'm just little Larry from Jersey.
Yeah. I
I'm
like
just Larry
that.
from Jersey. That's all. I'm Joya's son. I am Joya's son. That's it. And I just was blessed to be in unique situations where I was able to get beyond the standard and achieve a certification.
Yes.
But I'm still going to Jersey, having a slice of pizza, and
You know
sitting
where
down with
home
my
at.
buddies.
Yeah,
That's right.
That's it.
That's right.
I do the same thing. I tell people I'm a country boy living in the city. You know, it's when you're doing this, you're doing that. I said, at the end of the day, I'm a country boy living in the city.
I would have
You
never
know?
known. I heard a Chicago accent. I never knew it was a Southern accent. I never knew about it. I never knew that.
Yeah, I still eat bologna sandwiches, chitlins, all that.
Sardines,
Sardines, yeah.
sweet potato sandwiches.
Yes.
You know, but what you're really talking about is really living a life on, you know, a life on purpose versus a
Yes.
life of impact, though.
Yes, ma'am.
And I think that's really what you're doing. But talk in your website, you talk about living life 90 days at a time, or in a 90-day window.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Yes, living. I purposefully, intentionally, and I will speak more about. I will speak later on about 2026, and I recommend that we live intentionally. And I intentionally live in 90-day windows, and that is associated with my cancer, because I go and get treatment every 90 days. And that is a very, very anxious time period of my life. When I go to, shout out to MD Anderson in Houston, Texas, when I go to the professionals that have excellent bedside manner, you know, who are very culturally understanding, which we, you know, a lot of doctors miss out on. But they're very culturally, beyond competent, they're very culturally intelligent. And that's what I learned. That's what we try to enforce in the British Light. But every 90 days, I have to go and get surveillance, consisting of a blood examination, CT examination, and an X-ray. And those 24 hours, 48 hours, 72 hours, is quite anxious for me, because I don't know what's about to come back.
Oh yeah,
Right.
you just
I don't know what's about to come back. So, but when it does come back, and most recently, the Friday before Thanksgiving was my last surveillance, and in February 24th will be my next surveillance. So, by God's grace and mercy, I'm here right now.
yes.
But when I get the news, it's time to plan. It's time to plan. It's time to exhaust myself. It's time to give it all out, because I don't know what's going to happen in the next 90 days.
Yeah.
So
you be fulfilled.
if the time happens in which, you know, the ugly hands of time say, okay, time's up, at least I've left it all on the
Right.
table.
Yes.
You know, and I've poured into the community in which I serve. So there will be another little Larry or Lorraine out there growing up to take on the torch to move forward.
Yeah. So now you're talking about legacy.
Yes, ma'am.
And the legacy
Yeah.
that you plan to leave. But I wanted to ask, of all of the things that you've done, you've been in the military, you've been a scholar, and then now as a survivor, which one of those roles do you think impacts you the most as you live a life of impact?
Well, being Joya's son
Mm-hmm.
from North Newark, New Jersey, my mother, growing up and went to Central High School in Newark, New Jersey, a tough gal. She was a survivor.
Oh wow.
And,
okay.
you know, because my mother survived multiple sclerosis,
Amen.
we survived being on public assistance growing up. So that survival germ
It's
was
in you.
is embedded in me. So the scholar and the servant and the soldier and all of that is a result of the survivor that Joya imparted in us. First in East Orange, New Jersey, then later in Long Branch, New Jersey.
Wow.
So I would say that the survivor inspires the scholar. The survivor inspires the military officer, and it inspires the servant now. So I appreciate just the lessons, the lessons learned, because Joya was a unique character. Was a unique character, and those who know her appreciate her now because of fruit that she bore. So
Okay. Now, you have any siblings?
I do.
Yeah.
I do. Big shout out to Antoine.
Yeah, give him a shout
Antoine,
out.
Big Antoine. Big Antoine is in Jersey, and he when I say big, I mean I'm a decent sized guy,
Yeah.
and he's a little bit bigger than me. I say little, air quote, italicized, underline. But he's a wonderful, wonderful person. Very,
That's
very
good.
kind heart, very, very compassionate, and I look to him as a role model.
Okay.
For the degree of compassion that he shows for people.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate that in him.
Now, being the cancer now, at what age did you find out about the cancer?
Wow. Just so the cancer journey
Yeah.
is very, very unique. So towards my military career, before they let you out into the world, say, okay, mister, you're no longer a colonel, you're mister now. They got to make sure that
Oh, wow. I
they
didn't
got
know
to
that.
make sure that
That
mister is sound.
Yeah.
Or we got to put you in a hospital to fix a few things or whatever the case may be. So soon to be mister, soon to be doctor, they determined that I was fine. And that going through all kind of mental examinations, and I do have PTSD and TBI, and was an inpatient.
And
What is
TBI?
TBI is traumatic brain injury,
Okay.
and I actually was an inpatient at the Tampa VA for that. But when I retired, I had an air quote a clean bill of health, and in 2000, so I retired. This is the date, 2021, February 29th. Yes.
Oh,
February 29th,
year.
leap year.
Okay.
Okay.
Intentional. Remember, you got to be
Yeah.
intentional about things. I had to take a leap of faith.
Yeah, there you go.
I had to take a leap of faith. So with that, just going on with my life, and then one day, in 2000, early 2021, start getting gas, like strong gas. Saw a little bit of blood in my feces, but I'm a combat soldier, former combat soldier. Gas. I mean, we've eaten food all around the world.
Yeah.
Yes, hemorrhoids will sometimes, you'll
Cause
see
that.
see things that shouldn't be there. So my mind, like a lot of cancer patients, like a lot of those who are dealing with cancer, your mind justifies the pain or the abnormalities that one faces when they're dealing with cancer.
Oh, wow.
So in 2021, I was just kind of, it's just gas. It's just this. It's just that. I'm taking Tums. I'm taking this. Yeah, a little minor relief, but then it comes back.
Yeah.
So I had a colonoscopy. I got a colonoscopy, and the doctor comes back and says, you have a tumor inside your colon.
Wow.
Now, had you been getting colonoscopies leading up to that as preventative care?
That's a very good question. I had a colonoscopy right before I retired.
Okay.
So that was like 2019 maybe. And I guess they found a few polyps. They cut them out, but there was nothing definitive. So when I got the news, we just don't know enough about cancer.
True.
We don't know enough about cancer, and I put my trust, faith, and confidence in the Veterans Association, the VA hospital, which I recommend that if you're a service member, retired service member, or service member who have those benefits, don't do that, because cancer is specialized. It's not a broken arm, it's not a broken tooth, it's not something that the VA full of clinics take care of. When you have cancer, it should be specialized. It should be a specialist going in there to look at. But I did not know that. I did not know that, and I got, and they went in and did a surgery on me with the chemotherapy, 12 rounds of chemotherapy, and I was cancer free in 2022. Only to this year, 2025, around the latter February, I was re-diagnosed with stage 4. So the first cancer was stage IIIC colon cancer, which is a tumor pressing against an organ. This year, I had stage 4 colon cancer, which means that the lymph nodes, the VA did not remove all the lymph nodes that were infected, or just they were not as infected.
Yeah.
So that's why, I recommend, I'm not telling you what to do, I'm not telling anybody what to do, but I recommend that you go to a specialist, colorectal specialist, a lung specialist, esophagus specialist, when you're looking at as far as, a hospital. So this year, I had stage 4 colon cancer, and when they found a little growth on my lung as well, which means that it metastasized from my colon area into my lung. So we performed the open surgery in September. In October, he did a laparoscopic surgery, which pulled the cancer out my back, out my lung.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So are you cancer-free today?
I am cancer-free now.
Amen.
However, I will say this, not to damper anybody's mood, because we're going into 2026 strong. But I have cancer. Cancer is in my blood.
Yeah.
And one day, it may come back, and it's fine. But I'm more educated now, and I can advocate for myself now in a more direct manner, opposed to just having a doctor, which are fully qualified. But for having a doctor just telling me what to do, I can ask the right questions and negotiate and navigate the treatment that's best receptive, that I could best receive and move on for a normal life.
Yeah. Two things. One, because I recently lost my dad a couple of months ago through the cancer. He didn't want to do the chemo. He was always like 84, 85. And we didn't know he had cancer until we knew, because his brother had died 2 weeks before. And we knew he had cancer. I said, Dad, you good? He said, yeah. He was driving and everything. 2 weeks later, it went from him driving and talking about chasing rabbits to boom, he's gone.
Yeah.
And I have friends. I have a good friend, been knowing him 30 years. Him and his wife live in Arkansas. She had cancer. I forgot exactly what type it was, but he said she's cancer-free because she changed her diet. It was certain stuff that she was eating, a lot of natural stuff.
Sure.
And he said it has some side effects as far as maybe a mood swing or something, but he said other than that, she's been cancer-free the whole time.
Yes.
Angie and I have a friend, Paul Ritter. He does a lot of. He's a nutritionist.
Nutritional therapist.
So, yeah. So how's your? I mean, do certain foods you eat don't eat?
Absolutely. I do have a strict diet. Not a diet that was provided to me by any doctor, but I do eat one time a day. I eat, no pork. I eat meat rarely. I eat a lot of vegetables.
Oh, that's good.
Eat a lot of vegetables. I love salad. And also just a point with my surgery, a point with my cancer is that it was service-related cancer. So in the military, in the VA now, they have this burn pit registry, where early on, when we went to Afghanistan in the early 2000s, and in Iraq in the early 2000s, we would burn everything, and I mean everything.
Wow.
So you are inhaling these toxins, and we all inhaled them. I just pulled the unlucky card, and it was determined that my cancer was service connected.
Wow.
Yeah, because I was going to ask you, was it from a family,
from
family, but now you.
Yeah,
so they didn't
environmental.
give y'all the mask, the O2 mask, something like that?
Well, in that environment, no, it was not a need for that
At that time, yeah.
At the time, But and this is what I speak to when I go to underserved communities. Usually they are near garbage dumps sometimes, train tracks, highways,
All the toxins.
Airports,
True.
where the toxins, where we have a history of bronchitis maybe in this area,
Very
or
bad.
cancer in this area. Well, a lot of it's environmental, environmentally stimulated. So this is one thing that just again bringing awareness to the groups that when I talk about cancer awareness, how the air you breathe, the water you drink, and the food you eat, no matter how clean you eat, air quote, sometimes it's just no way around it because you are live in an underserved environment.
And so this is why it is part of your 3 pillars
Yes.
for A Bridge to Life,
Yes.
where you are talking about cancer awareness and but talk about those pillars that you have.
Absolutely. Thank you so very much for asking me this. A Bridge to Light is supported by 3 pillars. First, we believe that you cannot protect the community unless you protect the women within that community. So, protection of womanhood is our first pillar. You can't have a sane, cohesive environment unless the women in that community is protected. So, number 1 is protection of womanhood. Intentional mentorship is the second pillar, which you spoke to earlier. I go into certain juvenile detention facilities and meet with other individuals of underserved community, and we are intentional. We're not just sitting around a pizza box talking about when I was a young guy. No, it's curriculum based. There's tools to measure transformation, not the transaction, but how is this individual or group transforming based on the information that we're providing, and not only A Bridge to Light, because our motto, let's learn together and make the net work.
Yeah.
Well, how are we making the net work? How are we making the other nonprofits? How are we leveraging the access of the other nonprofits and municipal organizations to come together as a machine to further facilitate the transformation through the intentional mentorship process?
And that's an acronym. So what does
Yeah.
network?
Network.
stand for?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's learn together. Let's make the net work.
Yeah.
Well, the mindset, again, the military mindset. When I was in the military, special operations had an exercise called a JCET, Joint Combined Exchange Training. Joint Combined Exchange Training, JCET. And what it was, we would go down to Honduras, Guatemala, El Salvador, speak the language, eat the food, and train, train with each other. So the big deal was interoperability, one language, one understanding.
Okay.
So how did I take that mindset of the JSET and overlay that against South Dallas, against the more resource-constrained environments, just like some of our South American partners are resource-constrained. So it was a JSET. I just put the neighborhood exchange training. How are we exchanging training, understanding about cancer, intentional mentorship, understanding protection of womanhood, and how important that is to navigate traditional obstacles that kept us away from our human needs. So, that's a big deal. Making the network is essential. And how are we leveraging the inherent access and placement of our partners to further, because we can't do it by ourselves. But how are we leveraging our community partners in a very synchronized manner to further enable the net to work?
Yeah, that's another one. Like, I know I wrote down why is understanding violence critical in undeserved communities. I'm not sure if you saw the news. It was, I think, a young 17-year-old got shot in Fort Worth. They was in Stop 6 at a park. One of my friend, Melinda, she has an organization called Moms, Moms of Murdered Angels. She texted me, said, "Oh, you're awake?" I was asleep because I was out of town. And she said, twin, that's one of his cousin that got shot. And I was like, and I saw it this morning, I was like, whoa. It's like when the violence come to people, and especially people that you know and share friendship and love with, and somebody, and then you just at you know, can you give? I know you don't have the straight answer, but what do you think we can do to help those violent activities?
Well, I don't give simple answers to complex problems.
Yeah.
Because you get people killed when you do that. Because people, based on your position, based on your title, you have a certain degree of credibility.
Yes.
So if you say something, some people may act on it. But I will say this: I will ask the rhetorical question to this group and the group that's watching tonight: what is violence?
Yeah.
What is violence? You know, when we think about violence, we think about punching, kicking, scratching, probably some psychological violence, rape,
Yeah.
threats. But that's not the violence yes, that violence is important because that's the manifestation, we can see it. But the real important violence is the violence you don't see. Because there's a second part of the definition that we speak to in my presentations, is the maldevelopment and deprivation piece. Because you live in the southern part of this city or the north across the tracks, you don't have the same access as those of the north to healthcare, to education, food deserts, transportation. So that's a violent act. If someone is preventing you from achieving your vision, that's a violent act.
Yeah.
That's a violent act. So I'm focused. Yes, the manifestation of violence, physical violence, is important. But how about the structural violence? How about the violence based on because you are of this particular identity?
Yes.
There's certain policies written. There's certain laws written. There's certain things like Jim Crow was a
Yeah.
structurally violent law. Okay, that created what they call cultural violence, and cultural violence
Correct.
it cultivates the narrative that we tell ourselves and what people tell you. You can't go to this college, so therefore this person or this group of people may be not as intelligent as those group of people. So you don't have access to those resources. Therefore, here's the story we tell ourselves, the biases, the stereotypes about those people. And this environment can exist for decades, for centuries. And
Yeah.
arguably, maybe in some areas in the United States, it's still being exercised. And based on the cultural violence, it validates sometimes the manifestation of violence against a particular group.
I like that.
So it's called the triangle of violence. I didn't come up with that.
Oh yeah.
That's Johann Galtung's triangle of violence, and I look at that and overlay that against many environments in which we face today.
And just hearing what you said, the thought came to mind about the self-limiting thoughts that we have. We don't do this. We don't go certain places. To your point, we don't go to certain schools. We don't do that. They do that. And as a result, I think there's an opportunity to build up a sort of anger and resentment in some ways. So I had a question for you about mentorship. About a quarter of the households are led by a single parent. You're the product of a single parent. I'm the product of a single parent by widow. So what happens when mentorship is absent in a community?
Sure.
What's the impact of that?
Sure. First, my life is not the cop-out. They can't say, well, you made it without a mentor.
Yeah.
I can't speak for the whole. God has put me on a very unique mission, to reach those without the mentors, whatever the case may be. So my life, the way I've lived my life, is not to overlay me and say you could do it just the way he did it. No.
Yeah.
First of all, that's a whole 8-hour series
Okay.
of my life.
Yeah.
It's not because life for me ain't been no crystal stair.
Yeah.
So let's keep it real.
Yeah. Definitely being transparent.
But I would say that mentorship, based on, our mentorship program is called 100 More Mentors. 100 more mentors. I don't care if we have 1,000 mentors. We need 100 more.
Yeah.
We need 100 more, men and women, because the problems that underserved communities are facing are very uncertain, volatile, and ambiguous. So without having a mentor there, sometimes social media, the 24-hour news cycle, and entertainment is the
Yeah.
mentor.
Right.
True.
And unfortunately, I've seen the results of that up close at Henry Wade and other detention facilities. So it's important to, one, build trust. The mentee picks the mentor picks the mentee because he or she has to spend time with that individual. Just because a mentee wants this person, wants someone to be their mentor, it doesn't work that way. The mentor has to want to invest, and trust. Trust has to be built. And there's a lot of discussion, and there's a lot of sometimes mistakes made between mentor and mentee, but trust has to be there. And mentorship now, today, and as we go into 2026 and beyond, mentorship is critical because we don't have the Pop Warner footballs. We don't have the extra curricular activities that in the 70s and 80s we had that to take our time. Nowadays, a lot of cutbacks. So they're not able to fund those. So we're asking, everyone, to volunteer your time.
Yeah.
Volunteer your time and mentor a group of young men and women. Tell them about yourself and be transparent. And don't be afraid to say, I made this mistake as well.
Yeah.
That's important. Because you have to be real to them.
Yeah.
You have to be.
It takes you back. Like my parents used to say when we used to think they just saying stuff. Then my mom always says stuff like, "I'm telling you this because what you're trying to do, I did it. It didn't
Sure.
turn out well."
That's right.
So we learn from our elders and mentors and stuff like that. So what do you want the audience take away from this interview, and then let them know how can they reach you? How can they your foundation? How do you get funded? Are you looking for sponsors? I mean, this is your platform. Let them
Yes.
know because your program is an excellent program, and we want to see it manifest and just grow tremendously.
Yes, so to contact us, if you just type in a bridge to light, not TO, but the number 2 light,
Okay.
that the algorithm will pull up to our website, our Facebook page, our YouTube page. I mean, it'll give you the whole perspective. I will ask you one. We want to hear your voice.
Okay.
We want to hear your voice. So come out and blog on our website on abridgedlight.org and blog, because by hearing your voice, we're able to shape our techniques as far as how we engage the population.
Okay.
And yes, we want you to donate. Yes, we want you to donate because we have a very persistent and realistic approach, and that costs money.
Yes.
That costs money. So if you can, go on abridgedlight.org and the donate button, and click on the donate button and make a gift and provide a
Yes.
gift. And we're looking for financial donors. We're looking for increased partnership, because how can we make the net work if we don't have the partners? So
That
we
makes
want
sense.
to have partners that we are aligned mission-wise and our goals. So how are our goals and objectives, how are they aligned? And you could contact me at abridgedlight.org or info@abridgedlight.com. Also, we have a volunteer button.
Oh.
Please
that's nice.
volunteer. Volunteer. Yes, your money is so very important, but your time
Yeah,
as a
the
mentor
physicality.
is priceless.
Yeah.
It's priceless because you bring a lived experience that, yes, we do need money. I'm not going to undermine money.
Yeah.
But your time spending with these groups,
Okay.
the fraternities and the sororities and the organizations, the Masons, the Elks, the Shriners. We're asking you all to dedicate your time. A lot of you mentioned earlier I was a brother of the Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. Yes, I am. I've been a brother for 36 years this year coming up.
Congratulations.
And thank you very much. And we want to bring those brothers in,
Okay.
and not only be on the surface, but we want you to really mentor these young men and women. So,
Do you have any information on the impact of your organization? Some of the stats. I know they're
Yes.
on your website. But
yes.
do you happen to have any of those?
I don't have any tonight, but I tell you I tell you a great testimony
Okay.
that speaks to this. About 2 weeks ago, a young man was being released from a detention facility, and I've been mentoring him for about a year. And he said, "Listen, I want to continue being mentored when I get out."
Oh, I like that.
See, this is the
Yeah.
100 more. It's what makes us different, not better, than any other nonprofit. Is that our goal is not just to mentor you inside of a facility, but follow you out, because life be life and real quick, especially to a young man or woman who enters the
that
world, and the music and this and that, and before you know it, they're
caught up.
repeat offenders.
Wow.
So this individual, we build trust. We build trust. I've made mistakes. I they've seen this, and this individual now is being mentored by me out here in society. He has a job. He's moving right along, and that's the intent. We're getting him back in school. He wants to go to college.
Oh, that's good.
So. Listen, you don't have to be a Q dog. I just want you to go to school, attend school, or education, because one of our pillars, one of our goals is to increase educational opportunities. That doesn't mean that you get a college degree,
Right.
but vocational.
Yes.
The person who built this building, who's the electrician for this building, is probably pretty well off. The plumber that does the plumbing for this building
Yeah.
is probably pretty well off. He ain't no PhD.
Yeah. But
All
he's
right,
good.
he ain't no
He's good.
PhD. So this is what we're pushing,
Yeah,
and
trades are very important,
And
trade skills.
trades are so very important. So we are having discussions with an individual, but he calls me every day. He checks in. He has a sense of purpose, and that's just an example of several cases in which we're dealing with here today.
Okay. Give them your website one more time.
Our website is www.abridge, ABRIDGE, abridge, the number 2, light, LIGHT.org, O-R-G. And we could just start there.
Okay.
We could just
I
start
like
there. And you can send me messages as far as an email message.
Okay.
You can do blogs there. You can donate money there. You can tell me that we want to be a community partner. We're always ready to engage new community partners to further enable the net to work.
Do you have any events coming up?
We are planning We are planning actually a food distribution with not with us alone. At Hutchins Gateway,
Okay.
with two other. I don't know if they're going to be named tonight, but
Okay.
But on the 10th,
Okay.
on the 10th of September, we will be there.
Okay.
We'll-
But
and
it'll be on your website
It'll,
too.
it'll be on our
Okay.
website, and what we intend to do is not only give food away. Okay, not only just give food away,
Mm-hmm.
but we're gonna have a chef there to teach them how to cook
Great.
nutritious.
Yeah, I like
Don't
that.
boil the food out. Don't
Yeah.
We'll
don't
connect you
over-
with Paul then.
Don't over
Yeah.
season the food. So we're going to do a food giveaway.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to do the chef. They're going to show them how to cook food, and
Okay.
then we're going to do a community health seminar on colon cancer and cervical cancer, because cervical cancer
Amazing.
is January.
Oh,
So cervical cancer is the month of January. So we're going to. Last year, I had a few doctors. One of our fraternity brothers, Jadan Phillips, in New York. He's a professor at Stony Brook Medical School, and he came in, and others came in and spoke about cervical cancer last month. So this is very important, not only for women to understand, but for men to understand as well.
Because you have monthly events or
Yes.
that
Yeah.
where you bring in an audience to
Yes.
speak on different topics,
Yes.
and that information is available on your website
Yes,
as
so
well.
we're going to populate that even more so now. Yes.
And Angie, how can they find you on your social medias?
Oh, okay. So you can find me at A Clark 54321 on Instagram, Angela Carter Clark on Facebook, and my business website, myamplifiedexcellence.com.
Y'all can find me at I am Marcus Lee Stephenson across the platforms. You got to give a shout out to your barber. He's a friend of ours.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. So I was talking to Miles. I was talking to him. Actually, Sunday, I met with Miles to, listen, I get a haircut every week. I get and Miles is such a great spirit.
Yeah,
He
humble
is.
guy.
He's such
very
a great
humble.
spirit.
Chicago finest.
That's right. And when I was going through cancer, I was going through my treatment, I was losing my hair. So he would cut my hair, make sure I was presentable. And he cuts the hair of our mentees as well.
Oh, nice.
Those who re-enter, and he's talking about the barbershop and being an entrepreneur and the challenges of being an entrepreneur. So Miles is a wonderful person. He's a Lamar Shaving. Lamar,
Yeah, he
Both
does
them,
the-
John.
both of them,
Yeah.
John in Dallas, Texas.
Yeah.
And also he has a little facility next door.
Yes.
The lounge.
A
yeah.
little lounge. So,
Buddies.
but a huge shout out to Miles. He's a brother. He's a wonderful brother and friend, and I appreciate just his sincerity to serve the community.
That's it. All right. And on that note, we will catch you guys next Tuesday. But again, after we're going to have an after show, so make sure you tune in on this show and after show. It will be live on YouTube, but it's also live on Facebook. And on that note, we are out. We will see you next Tuesday.
Thank you. Thank you.